Hey guys, what's going on? We're doing a little bit of a Howard Lutnick deep dive today. Somebody sent me this meme. Did you know one of Epstein's properties was given to Howard Lutnick for just $10? And did you know the guy who notarized the deed was also the guy who shot the famous footage of the 9/11 attacks? Well, this is from an Instagram reel from a lady named Jennifer King. We're going to get into that in a minute. I was interested, so I decided to look up some Jeffrey Epstein, Howard Lutnick connections here, and I did find this. Lutnick's Epstein ties raise concerns on Wall Street, but not in the White House. And here's the article here on CNN, but I had Gemini summarize it for me. So let's get into this a little bit, just kind of as an aside. Based on the details surrounding the article, here's a summary. The revelation: U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick admitted to visiting Jeffrey Epstein's notorious private island, Little St. James, during a family vacation in 2012, while records show he planned to have lunch with the late convicted sex offender. Contradictory claims. The disclosure surfaced following a massive release of the Epstein files by the Justice Department. The revelation contradicts Lutnick's previous claims that he had completely severed ties with Epstein more than 2 decades ago. Political backlash. The newly uncovered connection sparked bipartisan outrage and mounting calls for Lutnick to resign from his cabinet post. Lutnick was forced to testify before Congress, where he downplayed the relationship, claiming he barely had anything to do with Epstein, despite the 2012 island visit. Now, I think he said he stopped talking, or he cut all connections with Jeffrey Epstein back in 2005, but that was clearly not the case. They had like kind of an on-again, off-again relationship until Jeffrey Epstein's death in 2019. Despite the growing controversy and pressure, President Donald J. Trump firmly stood by Lutnick. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt confirmed that Trump fully supports his Commerce Secretary, emphasizing that Lutnick remains a highly valued and important member of his administration's team. Now, let's get into this reel here. Let's watch this. This lady named Jennifer Kings. Let's get into this. Come on.
Tell me, what are the odds that the notary to the deed of what was both Epstein and Howard Lutnick's property at 11 East 71st Street, because yes, Epstein owned that property before Lutnick owned that property. It was transferred.
Now, Jeffrey Epstein and them lived close by each other, and the title of this article was Howard Lutnick had a problem in 2018. He turned to his next door neighbor for help, Jeffrey Epstein. So it all ties in together. I guess Jeffrey Epstein's address was 9, and Lutnick's address was 11, 911. I know it's probably just a coincidence, but still gets your noggin jogging. But let's get more into this.
To Epstein for just $10 in 1992. Epstein passed the deed to a Comet Trust in...
Comet, ooh, wonder if that has anything to do with pizza. I wonder.
1996, again, for just $10, of which a Guido Goldman was a trustee, the son of one of the founders of the World Jewish Congress. And then it was passed to Lutnick in 1996 for, again, just $10. Who notarized the deed transferring this property from Jeffrey Epstein to the Comet Trust in 1996? A Gary Pollard just so happened to be in the perfect spot at the perfect time to record the perfect shot of the South Tower collapsing on September 11th.
Oh, shit. Pollard. Hold on one second. Let me do a quick Google. Pollard 9/11 footage. Gary Pollard captured significant close-up and raw video footage of the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks in New York City, particularly the collapse of the South Tower of the World Trade Center. Now, Lutnick's company was in the North Tower, and Howard Lutnick apparently didn't show up for work that day. 658 of his employees died, along with his brother, back then, and I got some stuff about that too. We're gonna dig into that a little bit too. We're gonna finish this reel in a second here, but yeah, it's pretty wild stuff. Gary Pollard, I guess, was a notary. Was it the same guy? Gary Pollard notary. Here's a wild coincidence. A man named Gary Pollard happened with the notary who notarized the deed on Epstein's property. Okay. Oh, this is a fucking hour-long thing. Gary Pollard is the founder and chairman of DocFest, a New York documentary center. The New York Documentary Center was founded in 1997 to provide the public with an ongoing series of programs exploring all facets of nonfiction documentary making. By some wild coincidence, a man named Gary Pollard happened to be the notary who notarized the deed of Epstein property to Howard Lutnick for $10. That same Lutnick, the Secretary of Commerce, allegedly had a son at Cantor and Fitzgerald put shorts on the tariffs Trump's imposed, bearing the correspondent and validate them, and thus make themselves tied to some of $340 million thus far. Could be in the billions. Ultimately, they're all a den of snakes. Okay. Hold on. Lutnick. I heard about that. Shorting Trump's tariffs. So, yeah, when they... Yeah, Lutnick's firm forced to address cynical tariffs move. Okay, this is some wild shit. Trump allies are blaming Lutnick for Trump's tariff turmoil. 5 days ago from Yahoo Finance. Yeah, he shorted the tariffs. The Supreme Court rejected the tariffs. They shot it down, so they had to pay like $170 billion back to these companies. And it's kind of crazy when you think about like all the all the expenses laid on the consumers' shoulders due to the tariffs, due to Americans having to foot the bill to buy goods that were produced, out of America, produced abroad, and these companies are making money from it. And Howard and Lutnick made money from it too. So
we rebuild our house. We move in 2005. Okay, Jeffrey Epstein is arrested in like 2008, I think, or something like that.
Right.
So knock on the door. His assistant on like a Saturday says, "Mr. Epstein, your neighbor would like to invite you over for coffee." So my wife and I go next door. We walk the 7 steps,
Yes.
right, to the next house for coffee. We share a wall,
Right.
right? So it's in New York City. So he invites us in. We have coffee in this, and he says, "Do you want a tour?" We said, "Great." He's
Interesting.
got a really big house.
what's with this softball shit, man? You got to hit him hard with this shit. What the fuck were you doing hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein?
Room you went into?
He's got
Why the fuck weren't you in the building? Why weren't you in the North Tower on 9/11? We'll get into that too.
well, I'll tell you.
Enough of this softball shit.
So his house is like super big.
Why are you shorting fucking Trump's tariffs? So when they got rejected by the Supreme Court, you made hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. What is this?
And so he gives me a tour in the living room, big living room. And then across from it is
This is fucking gross. Financial firm once run by Trump's Commerce Secretary has been forced to clarify that it did not seek profit from the tariff rollbacks announced on Friday after the Supreme Court decided in a 6-3 judgment that President Donald Trump did not have the right to impose his global tariff policy. Financial services firm Cantor Fitzgerald denied claims that it was attempting to cash in on the decision. Speaking with Semaphore, a spokesman said the company has never executed any transaction taking risk on the legality of tariffs. Any report suggesting otherwise is completely false. Claims stem from a report in Wired that elsewhere that Cantor was offering to buy rights to business tariff refunds, essentially betting that Trump's economic ploy would be overturned, as it was on Friday. We've already put a trade through representing about 10 million of IEEPA rights. Anticipate the number will balloon in the coming weeks, Cantor representative told Wired in July 2025. However, the spokesperson stated recently that the sales representative erroneously believed the financial product was something the company would soon offer and was simply trying to drum up interest from buyers. Oh, bullshit. Oh, this is something else. This interview from this guy, this Gary Pollard guy. Dude's a good notary, I hear. So, is it a coincidence? I don't know. This guy just said some shit about it. This is from 3 days ago. This is from 8 years ago. I mean, this guy must have seen the same video I saw. But is it a coincidence? Is this the same Gary Pollard? Is this guy a notary or some shit? I don't know. Identify Gary Pollard. The property transfer is real. Records show 11 East 71st Street of Epstein's townhouse was sold to Howard Lutnick for $10 in 1998 from Comet Trust with prior $10 transfers involving Epstein in 1992 and 1996. The notary claimed social media sources identify Gary Pollard as a notary in 1996 deed, and a Gary Pollard did film the South Tower collapse in 9/11. However, mainstream outlets haven't confirmed if it's the same person. It could be a coincidence. So, interesting stuff. But let's get back. Let's finish this video up. It's almost over.
2001. Is it just a weird coincidence that Jeffrey Epstein and Howard Lutnick owned 911 East 71st Street? Tell me, what are the odds?
Okay. But I was digging a little more deeply into this. You should follow this lady. She seems like a nice lady, Jennifer Kings, _Jennifer Kings on Instagram. But I did see this. And this lady, she kind of talks about it too, this Becca Day. She kind of discusses this. This is back in September. But I saw this. This is what kind of got me going. I'm shocked that he was also mysteriously absent from work on 9/11 as CEO, and almost 700 employees didn't make it. So, yeah, we talk about this Howard Lutnick story. Let's watch this video real quick. When we get into this Reddit post, it does get interesting.
David Lee Miller in Lower Manhattan. David, thank you very much. Since Tuesday, we've been mentioning a certain company, the bond trading firm Cantor Fitzgerald. They employed about 1,000 people on several top floors at the World Trade Center. The head of Cantor Fitzgerald, Howard Lutnick, just happened to be out of the office that day that the terrorists struck. Mr. Lutnick was taking his son to his first day of kindergarten. Now he says he has a very different view of business and life. He spoke to our business correspondent, Terry Keenan, earlier today.
We are really focused on trying to make sure that our 700 families who lost a member of their family are taken care of. And so I spent the day yesterday and part of the day in talking to our insurance company. Our insurance company, CNA, told me that they would, they told our guys, they didn't tell me, and then they told me that that they were willing to treat this as an accidental death, which means that they would double the policy for all of my victims upstairs and all of us, and so that added $35 million to that group upstairs. But the sad thing is, so $35 million sounds like so much money, but if you divide it by 700 people, it's only $50,000. It's not enough to.
Is this like, okay, not to get like too tinfoil hatty, but it looks like he's really like trying to not laugh. It looks like this like fake affectation. This is okay. Not start sounding like, you know, Candace Owens or something, but it does seem a little goofy to me.
So that's why we need to work on our foundation.
Yeah, and you've set up that foundation. We'll
It looks like he's trying not to smile about it.
And to our viewers, explain the needs of these young families. Many of your traders were just in their 30s.
We've got the average employee we have is around 33 years old. So they're just married. We have probably.
It's kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But anyways, as Lutnick becomes further embroiled in the Epstein scandal, old interviews and clips have been circulated related to his actions around 9/11, starting with his explanation for why he wasn't in the North Tower that morning. In many interviews over the years, Lutnick has said he survived because he was dropping his son off at Horace Mann School. In other tellings, he has referenced dropping him off at Park Avenue Synagogue. Those are not minor details. His absence that morning is the sole reason he survived while 658 Cantor employees were killed. The narrative often includes that it was the first day of school, yet New York City schools had reportedly begun classes the week before. If that's the case, why does the story continue to be framed that way? Is this just sloppy retelling, or is Lutnick bending the truth once again for some reason? There's a picture circulating online of him and his son at school that claims to be taken on that day, but I don't have any way to verify that. Let's see if we can find that. Hold on one second. Howard Lutnick, son, school, 9/11. Okay, I'm finding this. Here is, I'm assuming that's with his kid. Apparently this was taken on 9/11. What came next? Okay. That's apparently a picture of him and his son. You saw the future for Cantor Fitzgerald. Apparently, I don't know if that's verifiable. Remember, his losing employees on 9/11. So takes a picture with his kid going to that school. I don't know. We'll get into that in a minute. Let's keep going with this. Then there's this. By an objective measure, reprehensible actions immediately after the attacks. Then day salaries and health benefits of the families of deceased employees were cut off. Lutnick has defended this decision by saying this company wouldn't survive otherwise. But the family's perspective, their loved ones had just died, one of the worst attacks in American history, and their income and health care disappeared almost instantly. That decision alone remains one of those controversial aspects of Cantor's post-9/11 response. Cantor Fitzgerald cuts off 9/11 families. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh, God damn it. Hold on one second. I should really start looking this shit up before. Okay. How to pick up the phone and tap the partner dial to the conference call. Lutnick's brother, best friend, and 650 other colleagues were dead. His firm, 960 people strong that day, was decimated. Okay. Cantor was very good to us, says Bonnie McEnany, whose husband, Eamon, a senior vice president at Lacrosse Star, perished in the attacks, did a great job what they said they'd do. Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm not seeing that. This right here. Later distributed 180 million to the families and offered jobs to all children of the victims. 57 of those children were employed by Cantor Fitzgerald as of 2016. Okay. I'd like to add a tidbit. As in the hedge fund world, everyone knows that someone who's in the North Tower knows someone who was there themselves. After the attack, Cantor basically had a small office in Boston, if I'm not mistaken, and all firms wanted to trade or clear through Cantor to help them out. The problem was they couldn't handle the volume. It was so much volume. You would call an employee would be crying. They told you they had no bandwidth to process your trade. Cantor only survived due to that volume after the attack. I don't know. But let's get, yeah. Then there's this airline litigation. Cantor pursued immediately received $135 million settlement related to business loss from 9/11. Reporting at the time indicated that the settlement proceeds were distributed to Cantor partners rather than directly to victims' families because Lutnick reportedly held the largest ownership stake in the firm. Estimates suggest he may have personally received $15 to $25 million from that payout, claim he could not deny. The company's position was that the settlement compensated business loans, not wrongful death claims. Legally, that may be true, but ethically, after hundreds of his employees were killed after cutting off their families' pay almost immediately, the optics of partners, including the CEO, collected tens of millions from post-9/11 litigation are hard to stomach. Letting himself cries without tears, mind you, when recounting how little the victims will get and knowing how it's not enough. The attached clip is what initially piqued my interest. His facial expression, statements, and behavior are downright bizarre. Looks like a fake crying, and the victim immediately after smiling about the insurance settlement. I guess I'm not the only one to notice. It's very strange. Keep comparing it to interviews where he lies about the reaction to meeting Epstein, and I can't unsee the parallels. This is obviously, in my opinion, a disgusting, unethical person. He has been accused in these files of numerous financial crimes. Only time will tell if the worst crimes come to light, or if any of these can be proven in a court of law, but a long relationship with Epstein is not promising. Has anyone in this up ever looked into that, especially the discrepancy of the story about dropping his child off? I want to be clear, I do not believe it. I'm not suggesting a prior knowledge of an attack. Also, understand his brother died in the attacks. Just want to know why he would give different stories related to his absence there. A bizarre new clip shows Lutnick laughing uncontrollably as Trump describes his entire company being wiped out on 9/11, how he narrowly escaped the same fate. His reactions are shocking and baffling, and is, in my opinion, harmful as they fuel more extreme conspiracies. Yeah. Expression of people that are supposedly fly 9/11 and had random trips or change of plans and seems so conspiratorial anymore. For instance, learning about Willie Brown's story and deep connections prior to 9/11 is crazy. That's just one small offshoot of every possible 9/11 connection. There are too many coincidences and advanced warnings for me to believe there was foreknowledge of the attacks. Not to mention, you had a group of dancing urban movers that were in the area to document the event. What event were they documenting exactly? Or were they so gleefully watching the attacks play out? Silverstein leased the World Trade Center 6 weeks before 9/11. I knew it was filled with asbestos, and the cost to clean the asbestos would bankrupt him. But while the lease only valued the World Trade Center at $1.5 billion for insurance, Silverstein asked for an extended $3.55 billion insurance. He's asking them to pay more insurance. What was required? After 9/11, Silverstein put claims as two separate events for each building and argued that he should get 2 times of the $3.55 billion value. He ended up with $4.55 billion in claims. Although he never missed work in a strict routine of daily breakfast meeting at the building except that day, his kids worked in the same building or running late to a meeting that same day. Very coincidental. Larry is the dumbest but luckiest businessman. Yeah, okay. So I don't know. This guy said, the dude on Reddit said this Lutnick guy cut off the 9/11 families like immediately, but I don't know. I can't really. Missing 700 taken off Cantor payroll. Yeah. This article's more than 24 years old. Connor Fitzgerald, the bond trading firm, lost 700 staff in the World Trade Center has come under attack for removing the names of missing employees from its payroll. Just 4 days after the disaster, families were upset when paychecks due last week failed to arrive. They point out the employees are being officially missing rather than deceased. Cantor Fitzgerald was effectively more than any other company in the disaster. Lost 70% of its staff in the New York attack. Film was placed during a quarter as proper to the families of missing employees at some point. Other companies have let they say they continue paying staff until relatives find an alternative safety net. Okay. 9/11 settlement distribution stirs ire among Cantor insiders. Oh, for God's sake, come on. Some executives with Cantor Fitzgerald is teaming out their boss, chief executive Hal Lutnick, for quietly pocketing a chunk of the $135 million settlement of the company received from American Airlines over negligence related to the 9/11 terrorist attacks that killed more than 600 of the brokerage firm's employees, Fox Business Network has learned. Cantor accused the airline of failing to present hijackers from taking the plane that crashed in the firm's headquarters, North Tower of the World Trade Center. After years of legal wrangling, American agreed to $135 million settlement in December 2013. So people inside Cantor believe the money would be distributed to families of company employees who died in the attacks or put into the firm's general coffers. But during a conference call in March, Lutnick told senior executives the bulk of the money would be distributed among the firm's partners. According to one person on the call, further, the person said each partner received $2 for each partnership unit. The source also said Lutnick is widely believed to own the biggest piece of the firm's partnership shares, thus entitling him possibly tens of millions of dollars from the settlement. Oh my God, is this fight fucking greasy? But let's get into, what was it? Okay. There was footage of this guy. Man, it's getting crazy here. Hold on a second. Oh, this right here. Getting back to the Reddit thing, there's some new footage of this guy like laughing about it. But right here, Trump points out that Howard Lutnick astonishingly survived 9/11. He laughed again.
Was around 8:45 or something like that, so he would have been there on almost any day other than this, because his wife was very angry at him because he wouldn't deliver his child to school every day.
What the fuck, dude? This is some weird fucking shit, man. This is some weird fucking shit. Good God. Oh, my Lord. Ugh. But yeah, just like watch this footage.
Probably a dozen women who are pregnant with babies who just lost their husbands. We've got lots and lots and lots.
Yeah, so he's like pocketing the lawsuit money. Apparently, I can't find evidence of him. I mean, just a quick search, but I have to dig more deeply into this. I probably should have started Googling this shit earlier. But yeah, this is some fucked up shit, man. This Howard Lutnick guy, he's up to no good. Epstein connections, 9/11 connections, corporate greed. This is some fucked up shit, man. But that's going to do it for me. Leave your comment section down below. What do you think of this Howard Lutnick guy? Do you think he knew something that nobody else did regarding 9/11? I don't want to make any accusations here. This is for entertainment purposes only. I probably should specify that at the beginning of the video. But yeah, that just was some interesting stuff I discovered here. Some really freaky shit. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. More videos coming your way soon. Thank you all so much. I'll talk to you guys later.